Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of September 29th through October 3rd. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from September 22nd through the 26th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Boeing. We ended the day at $221.26, up 3.62%. This is where we are. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at roughly 224.93. Above that, 227.53, and at 4 standard deviations, roughly $230. I do not anticipate we get to this level on Monday, but if we do, you know exactly what is going to happen. People will take their profits and they will run, they will lock in, and they will leave. Now, to the south side takes us to roughly 220.04. If we hit this line, I will anticipate a bounce off of it, or we can just start to grind sideways. But right now we are in an upward channel on the 5. And I will delete this line since it's very close to this line. I don't need any of those purple lines. Those are all basically middle of the trend lines that I have drawn out that either turn into support or resistance. And that I marked out on Sunday, basically over the weekend for Monday the 15th when I work on my gap and go trades, usually on Saturday or Sunday. So I will delete that. Now, price targets to the south side. Support takes us to 215.06, and this is a level of support as well as this area at 212.47. and roughly 210.03. This line is also support. Many levels of support and resistance between -2 and 2 standard deviations. And watch out for this landmine to the south side. We gapped up on Friday because of some great news for Boeing. I'll show you that in just a moment. So that closes out at 213.66, and this gap closed. Oh, wait a minute, let me see, double check. Yeah, that gap closed already to the downside at 212.53. And what else? I think everything else looks pretty good. We do have some targets and landmines to the south side, but right now, once again, we are in an upward channel. And I think there are several, but I will mark those out later. But watch out for the gaps to the south side. Now, we ran because of several reasons. Let me show you here. First, it says, Boeing stock surged after the FAA allowed limited delegation for Boeing to issue final safety documents for specific 737 MAX and 787 planes starting Monday. Turkish Airlines also ordered more planes, and they also secured a deal with Uzbekistan for up to 22 aircraft. But the big thing also is that Boeing, while it's not right here, settled a lawsuit from 2021, a wrongful death lawsuit right here for John Burnett. His mother filed a lawsuit and she won, what does it say, $50,000 in the settlement filed in the U.S. District Court in South Carolina, agreed to pay at least $50,000. I do not believe one word they're saying. $50,000 doesn't even cover the legal bills for the mother. No way. I'm sure it's in the millions of dollars, but they don't want to disclose that, and they don't have to disclose that. So they're just disclosing this. So I do not believe one word they said. The man was about to testify for the 3rd time because he was a whistleblower who worked for Boeing for 17 years. And he started to get bad performance reviews because he was telling them that they were doing a shoddy job with production. He complained about it. And what happens? Voila, he ends up dying. It's just like the Clintons. 50 people are tied to their deaths, mysterious deaths? No way. But at least there's some closure for his family. And he even told a woman that if he dies, it is not by suicide, and to remember that. So rest in peace. It just makes me so sick. I don't know. It just bothers me. Bothers me, this story. Rest in peace, John and Charlie Kirk. All right, let's go back. I digress. You can have your opinions, but you shouldn't die because of them. All right. That is a look at Boeing. Let's move on. And that, I have to tell you about Tsly. I accidentally sold out, not at a point that I wanted to. I wanted to sell, but not at that price. But first, let me just go over the targets. To the north side, resistance, 936, sell limit area, take profit area possibly. These are your outliers here, as well as this level back from 2024, 945, and roughly 953. To the south side, this line right here, let me mark it out. That will take us to 919. Below that, 903, 894, and 886. So I sold some shares here, and my target was going to be this gap closure, give or take to the upside 2 to 5 cents. And then what did I do? I accidentally hit 927 instead of 937, apparently is what I was going to hit. And I thought about staying in longer, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to get in, get up, get out, and take my gains. And the shares that I sold were actually dividend shares that I wanted to reinvest at a lower price. So I'm going to try to get in lower. Hopefully down the road, we'll go up, get some gains, and then reverse, because there's always a reversal, and then buy in again. So I have many levels of, many lots. I bought at 892, 833, 829, 809. I mean, all those hot pink lines are when I bought. So I still own quite a bit of this. Now we have, let's mark this out. Let me make this just a little bit brighter. Well, actually, I turned this the dark color because the hot pink line is my, no, I don't like that color, doesn't. The hot pink line is where I bought in, so I don't like to confuse it. So let's mark this out so we know where the target is going to be to 889 as a pullback or a potential pullback area. Don't know when we're going to get there, just that we could. And then there's this to the downside at 843 and 732 for a pullback as well. All right, what else is happening? Oh, I do have some at 977, so I'm up overall, but some lots I am down. So this upcoming week, I'm going to maybe get rid of the 992 lot and sell that off, and then keep all the ones down here. And why did I accidentally mark this? Monday. Let's get rid of this. And I could get rid of the yellow and the purple lines too, but some other time. Oops. So the middle of the trend is right there. All right. I'll leave that alone. Oh, let me just see here. So all I'm looking at is from this week, from this period to the end of this week. So that's the 5 days here. So at the end of the week, we could end at 927, 939, 947, and 956. And to the south side, the range 905, 897, and 888. So keep that in mind. And Nike is at 69.31. We totally tanked on Friday. All right, so what is happening with Nike on a downward channel? All right, so here are some targets to the upside: 69.80, 70.22, the middle of the I need to move this down here. The middle of the trend, baseline support, grinding sideways, 68.46, and another potential buy-in area, 67.65, 67.18, 66.74. Note the bounce at support, going through resistance, and then here. So that is resistance as well, and so I will anticipate a pullback, and that is happening right here. And then if we hit that line, we could bounce. And resistance sell-off, 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 touching that line. And what else? We've got gaps to the upside and some gaps to the downside to be aware of as well. Option R, reset. Next one is Rivn. Remember, I removed Intel last week because it hit the last gap I was tracking at $29, although there are other gaps up to $52 plus, I think. All right, 15.59 is where we ended, almost down 1% to the north side. This is resistance from a line I previously drew out. 15.84, middle of the trend. We could hit this and then start falling back down again and then grind in this channel till we make it into this channel. 16.12, 16.26, and 16.40 to the south side. 15.56, back to an area we've been, 15.42, and 15.28-ish, looking left. Look at all your sell signals here, 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 here. Remember, the calculations constantly change, so this could have been right at 2 standard deviations, and then it recalculates. So we have this gap at 15.90 that opened up when? It opened up on May 23rd, 2025. This is no longer in play. Delete the 15.90. It started at 15.64, so congrats if you believed and you got rewarded. Clean this up. 15.90, delete. So that was a move we anticipated. Stop listening. That was my computer turning on. It's like it's always listening to you. It's Big Brother. All right, that closed out on Wednesday the 24th. And then again, resistance, sell off, sell off, sell off. This line is your sell signal. Get in, get up, get out, if that's how you like to trade. And what else? So we've got a gap down at 13.64, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. And then we have other gaps to the south side as well. Okay, and this upcoming week, we could hit the outer band of 16.91 and end somewhere near 15.79, middle of the trend, 16.37. And you'll have to look at the RSI on your different time frames to give you different buy and sell signals. NEO, last one, yay. All right, 7.04 to the north side. 7.25, this is an old from a week ago here. Middle of the trend, that's now resistance. 7.60, 7.78, 7.96. Down here, 6.90, 6.72, and 6.54. So we have a gap. We gap down, so I will anticipate the fill to the upside whenever that happens, and that could, well, that could happen Monday, but if not for sure, by maybe Thursday, the middle of the trend anyway, hits that line, maybe. All right, and then this one, did it touch? Sometimes I have to make it just a, nope, tad bigger to see that. 695 still in play. This one is done. It looked like I marked it there, but no, that was just extending it and then just stopping. So that is actually on Monday out of the gate down to 703. So congrats if you went short and you hit the jackpot. Now what is happening here at 714? Wow, it's been a while since well, let's go to the 15 so I don't have to keep pulling left. Good Lord, look at this. All right, 714 is where, from October 3rd, 2024. And oh, and that one too, to the south side, I didn't close out. All right, this one closed right there on Wednesday, September 17th, took us to 714. Congrats. And then there was this 634 I need to delete. And then